Hey there, welcome to my channel. Today we are working on a rustic fabric mini Halloween pumpkin, so let's get started. What I've got here are these two pieces from Dollar Tree and a little bit of this wire ribbon I got from Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to go ahead and take the picture holder off the back of this home decor piece. And then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm also going to take off this metal piece, and of course I'll save it because I'll find something to use it for later. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this burlap off, get everything all nice and clean. And then once this is all ready, I'm going to take this out and spray paint it with this matte black spray paint. So once everything is dry, I'm taking this candlestick holder, I'm just making a few marks on this home decor piece that I'm going to call our base, just so I know where to glue it later. And then I'm also taking this candlestick, the top part, and I'm tracing around it onto a piece of black cardboard. And then I'm going to go in about a 1/4 of an inch or so, and I'm going to draw a new circle, a new perimeter, and that's the part I'm going to cut out, that inner circle. Now I'm basically cutting out this cardboard circle to help fill in the space on the top of the candlestick holder, because it's got, you know, a lipped edge and then it drops down, and I want to fill that in with the cardboard so it makes it all nice and level and gives me more surface to glue to. I'll be using Beacon Fabri-Tac glue today. I'm going to go ahead first, of course, and glue down this cardboard circle. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some of this Beacon Fabri-Tac glue around the lip, right close to the edge, onto the lip just slightly, a little bit onto the cardboard. And then I'm going to bring in some E6000. I don't do this very often, but sometimes I do like to use it in combination. So the Fabri-Tac will help set it up quickly, and then the E6000 will make it more stable, of course. And then I will let this sit overnight. So there we go for that aspect. Now we're going to start on our pumpkin. So the first thing I'm going to do here, I'm using some crochet thread. I'm cutting 5 pieces of thread. They're about 24 inches in length. These are going to help make our pumpkin sections. Our fabric pumpkin itself is 13 inches in diameter, and you only need 1 piece of fabric. So what I'm doing here is just folded the fabric in half and then in half again, because I need to find the center. I'm just kind of sticking a needle through the center to mark it. And then what I'm going to do is take all 5 of these pieces of crochet thread, and I'm going to tie it together in 1 knot for now. Switching needles here, because what I want to do is use a needle with a really large eye opening here. That way I can get all 5 pieces of my thread through the needle at once. And then I will take this and put it right through that center spot, pull them all 5 all the way through, just like that. So it comes out on the right side of the fabric. And then I'm going to go ahead and tie a few more knots here, because that needle is large. It kind of makes a large opening in the fabric, and I want to make sure that when I go to pull these threads later, they don't pull out the hole. So now we're going to close our pumpkin. We're going to help gather it. I'm using fishing line here. This is a 25-pound test fishing line. My husband gave it to me. I used to use the crochet thread, but I have found with fishing line, I've only had it break like once or twice, and I've made probably 50 pumpkins. So it works great. And the first thing I want to do here is tie some knots. And I tie about 5 knots because fishing line is real slick, and I don't want those knots to come out. So I tie, like I said, about 5 knots, and I've got a pair of pliers here, and I just tug and pull really, really tight so those knots do not come out. And then I thread it on a normal needle. And now what we're going to do is go from the inside. We're going to make a gathering stitch here, and we're going to go about 1/2 inch apart. I'm going to come from the outside back to the inside, 1/2 inch apart, inside to the outside, 1/2 inch apart, outside to the inside. We're going to continue this process, and then I will show you a little quicker way. 1/2 inch apart, back and forth, inside to outside, then outside back to inside. All right, so we're going to try it all together at once. So you just put your needle part way through, and you're going to pleat the fabric on there. You're just going to go front to back, folding it back and forth, probably get 7 or 8 of those on there, and then pull your fishing line needle all the way through. That's quicker. So again, you put your needle part way through, and you just pleat back and forth, folding it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, till you get you know, a few on there and then pull it all the way through. You're going to continue this process all the way around till we've got our pumpkin almost all the way closed. Then what you're going to do is kind of pull where the knot is, and you're going to pull that a long ways out, probably 24 inches out, okay? Because you want both of your fishing line edges to come out really long. And then you're going to stuff it as full as you want it. And what I do here is I continually kind of pull on the threads to gather everything closed to see if I have enough stuffing in here. And I just keep continuing this process till I've got it as full as I want it. Pulling it closed, making sure, got it as full, nice and easy. I'm going to pull it all the way closed now. And I've got a stem here. This is an actual stick out of the backyard, and it had all that moss and stuff on it, and I just painted about 3/4 of it in black. I didn't paint the bottom part because that's not going to show. So I want to make sure that I leave my opening here on my pumpkin just enough to hold that stem. So basically it's kind of hard, just one hand if you want someone to help you, because you kind of got to hold the knot down while tying a knot at the same time. Hold your ends down. But once you get that closed, tie your knot, and I literally tie about 10 knots here because, again, remember, it's slick fishing line. We don't want it to come out. So you can see I'm tying a ton of knots, and once I get it where I want, I leave about 3 inches left on there of fishing line, and then I just tuck it right into the center. Kind of fluff my pumpkin up. Nice and easy. Got a nice pretty pumpkin here. Going to come back in with my Beacon Fabri-Tac glue, and I'm going to glue down a big portion of this everywhere that's, you know, of course not painted. I'm going to add a ton of glue on here. I want this to stay in all that cotton. I'm going to shove it through the center of that hole. Perfect. I love all that moss and stuff on it. Like I said, I just painted right over it. So now we're going to do our sections of our pumpkin. So kind of spread your threads apart here. And then grab two, kind of like right across from each other. Okay, and then you can let your other threads fall. And then you're going to take it up and pull it really tight right up against the stem. You're going to make a half knot, pull it really tight as you want it to make your sections. And then once you get it as tight as you want, then you're going to make a full knot. Finish your knot off. Then you're going to come back around to the other side. You're going to grab 2 more threads kind of across from each other. And don't worry where your sections kind of fold, because we can move these around. You're going to come up and do the same thing. Tie a half knot to get it sort of together. And then pull as tight as you want to get it. Not too tight. You don't want to break your thread, but tight enough to make a section. And then finish your knot. And now it's weird because we only have 1 thread left, but that's okay. We're going to take that thread. First off, we're going to kind of move our sections around so that we have equal sections, so when we grab that last remaining thread, it makes a nice section. And then pull it up and grab one of the other threads you already knotted, and you're going to do that same thing. Pull it nice and tight. Get it where you want, and then finish, you know, do a half knot, pull it tight, get it where you want, and then finish your knot. And we're going to keep these threads. We're not going to cut them off. They're going to help give us some texture. Kind of fluff everything up again, and the first thing we're going to do, just kind of separate your threads. We're going to add a little piece of lace here, just kind of tie it in a little knot around the bottom of the stem, just so it kind of hangs between your threads. This is some black trim I got in the Christmas section at Walmart. You can use whatever color you want, and you can definitely use like some twine, like some white twine or brown twine, whatever you want. And we're just going to cover up all that area that we gathered, and if there's any glue seepage from putting the stem in or anything like that. And we're just going to take and wrap this thread or your twine, whatever you're using, rope if you want, and just going to continually wrap it around itself on the outer edge so that our wrapping gets wider and wider around the stem. I think I go about 5 wraps all the way around. You want it to stay flat and just keep wrapping it. And once I get it where I want it, I just kind of wrap it a couple of times really loose around the top of the stem. And then I cut it off, and then I bring that back down and I glue that edge right to the pumpkin. So let's bring in some more decor. We're going to be bringing these little glittery things from Dollar Tree, and I've got these black roses from Dollar Tree as well. I'm going to use some of the leaves. just a couple of them. I'm going to cut them apart, give me a couple of leaves, and then some rusty fence wire. And this is some of that black netting that you can get from Dollar Tree in the Halloween section. Bringing in some Excelsior. We're going to start with this first. We're going to kind of glue the Excelsior right around the back, just to kind of give it something in the back. And then we're going to go ahead and glue a little bit around the front, right kind of in between the laces and those strings we left hanging. I know it's looking funny for now. And I'm going to pull up those strings that we left hanging, kind of right over the top of that Excelsior, and we're going to tie it in a great big large bow, so it's kind of hanging, the loops are hanging off the sides, the threads are hanging down. You can trim them a little bit just so it gives you some texture. So first thing we're going to do is add some of these glittery stems. Now all the stuff we're going to be adding today, a lot of it, honestly, the way I layer, some of it gets lost, but you still see it. It's there. You might only see little bits and pieces tucked in here and there, but you see it. And all this, you know, it might look all kind of mangled up at first, but it does look pretty in the end. So I have a few of these stick pieces too, these little branch looking things. They came off those black roses from Dollar Tree. So I'm just tucking these in too, just tucking the glitter stems and these little branch stems right in close to the pumpkin stem itself, kind of sitting them upright so they get seen a little bit. Then we're going to bring in our little black fabric leaves, just kind of one on each side, tucking them behind and the little black stems, so to speak. We're going to bring in some of this black netting. It's easy on this black netting if you kind of take one in and kind of twist it tight and then add some glue. And then I'm just going to tuck it in right in between like the leaves and stuff and just let it kind of hang off down the pumpkin. Twist it. And you're going to get glue all over your fingers, but it does work. Kind of tuck it in behind the leaves so it's hanging down, but the little clump of glue on the end doesn't get seen. Going to add a little bit more in the front, twist it, add some glue around it, tuck it in. It will get covered even though we're just kind of laying it right on top. Then you can kind of spread it out and stuff here and there, just so you're going to see all that hanging texture coming down. Then we're going to bring in some of my rusty fence wire. Now if you don't have rusty fence wire, you can use like regular wire from Dollar Tree and you can twist it up in a curly Q and then glue it in there. That looks really cute. I've done that before till, you know, I got a nice roll of rusty fence wire. I'm bringing in some of these pit berries. Now these were orange pit berries and I painted them black because I don't have any black, you know, in my supply. So, you know, if you want black pit berries like this, just grab some color, you know, even white ones, whatever, paint them or paint them black. I used the orange color I didn't really like as much. Perfect. And here's some beaded stems I got from Hobby Lobby. And again, I kind of broke them apart and I painted them black as well. They were like a orange and a green and a cream. Turned them black. Perfect for our little Halloween pumpkin here. Just tucking them in and wherever I can find a spot. Find an open spot, tuck something in. This is some black wire from Dollar Tree. It's really thin and flimsy, but it works great. Now, hindsight, you should probably put this on first. And what I'm doing is just kind of making a great big curly Q, and I'm going to glue it in at the base of the stem. I forgot, and then as I was looking, I'm like, oh, my black wire. So you got to kind of stick it in somewhere, but it still works. But you probably want to glue this piece on first. And then this is some paper covered wire I got from Hobby Lobby, doing the same thing. Now that black wire you can get in the automotive section at Dollar Tree, and I think it comes in a package of black and red wire. And you could put like a couple of those there twirling around it, you know, if you don't have paper covered wire, or just use the black wire and like silver wire. That would look really cute. Two colors of wire twirling up the stem. All right, bringing in, these are some metal leaves that came off of a pumpkin from Dollar Tree. I painted it black. And then the other leaves, I don't know which one I was going to use, but they were just colored wooden leaves that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I painted those black as well. So I'm just going to tuck in this metal leaf. I think this one actually came off of a candle from Dollar Tree. And then, like I said, these wood leaves. So I think I picked the maple leaf because I had two different designs there, just tucking those in any spot. And this is a wood star. They came in a package of wood stars from Walmart. And then this is some of that wire I showed at the very beginning. It was gold that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I spray painted it black. And what I did is just twist it in the center so it's together, and then just kind of spread out the ends. And now this is some black and white stripe ribbon I got from Hobby Lobby, and I think I cut off about 20 inches or so, and I'm cutting one end the wire off and then right down the center. So I want about a 1-inch strip here, and then we're just going to kind of tear off threads around it to distress it and fray it, and then we're just going to put it in a bow. Now make sure when you're tying this, like this ribbon is one-sided, so I'm making sure that I twist my pieces as I'm tying my bow together so that the right side is facing forward. And then I'm just pulling more on the threads that the bows are in so that it hangs off and looks all nice and distressed. I want those to stay there. The other ones I pulled off, but I want these ones to stay on. And then we're taking this little wire piece, kind of looks like a spider web is why I twisted it in the center and then kind of pulled out the edges to flare it out, tucking it in there. And I know it's all going to be hard to see because we're working black on black basically. This is a tag I made. I printed on my computer. It's really thick, almost like burlap fabric or duck cloth, and it's so thick I can run it right through my inkjet computer. And I printed on there using this moon font, something like that, or the skinny, and I just put October 31st and sewed around it, and then used a little eyelet, and then put a little thread through it, and I tied a knot around it so it's nice and short so that I could glue it right to the front. And then these are those little skull hands that you can get packaged of at Dollar Tree, and so I'm putting one of these in there. I've been loving these. They're creepy cool. Even though this is a cute project, this just adds a little creepy to it, but keeps it cute and cool. And then we're going to tie our bow right, or glue our bow right on top of that. And then I'm going to add one of these little wooden stars. I'm just going to find a place to tuck it in right outside the bow here. Now we're going to work on our base. Normally I'd put it in like this, but I thought this time I would turn it over. So what we need to do is fill that spot. So I'm doing the same thing like I did on the top, only I used my little tool here that we used to work with in school. So I knew the exact shape that I needed for the inside. Instead of tracing around it, I'm like, hey, I got that little tool, and all of a sudden I can't remember what it is. But I actually sewed around the cardboard on my sewing machine. And then I'm sanding the edges, and it's going to fit just directly right inside there, perfectly easy. Going to go ahead and glue it in. Just like that. Now it's nice and neat. What we're going to do is decorate the bottom a little bit. So we're going to take a little bit more of this kind of Halloween netting, and we're going to wrap it around where we want it here. Trim it a little bit. We're going to kind of glue it along the base. And when I glue this, I kind of glue along the edges, you can see there, and then I tuck a whole bunch of this netting together so that none of the glue shows through the holes, because it's a really large weave. And I'm taking again some of this black curly wire, kind of making a little loop at the bottom so it's like a V shape. Going to use another one of these little skull hands and rusty wire and another one of those other little wires like we used on top. And then I've got these paper flowers. I'm going to use this Tim Holtz Distress Spray Ink in black, and I am spraying them. Now you could probably in Hobby Lobby, Joann's, or Michael's just find black flowers if you want to use flowers and buy them, so that's really easy, or fabric flowers, or use those flowers from the pick from Dollar Tree. That's perfectly fine too. And I'm gluing on the curly black wire and gluing the little hand, the skeleton hand, I keep calling it a skull hand, the skeleton hand underneath that netting, and then gluing the fence wire and this other little wire on top. And then right where I glued those fence wire and the other ribbon wire on top, I want to hide that glue, so I'm just placing my roses right around it. And then I'm going to add another little wooden star here. And then once this is glued down, this project is complete. Well, I really hope you enjoyed this project today. Please give this video a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below and let me know if you like this project and if you want to try to make this one. You know, it really only took me, an hour and a half, 2 hours to make. It was not terrible at all. Of course, that was after I spray painted and let everything dry there, but really simple and easy and quick to put together. So plenty of time to still make it if you want to have this in your home decor for Halloween. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already a subscriber. Go ahead and hit that red subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on a single video from me. I will have a link down below to my Facebook group. I'd love to have you come join. A lot of us artists are sharing our projects and inspiring one another. So please follow that link and come ask to be part of our group. Also come follow me on Instagram. I really am trying to build that up. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. I know that seems like a little bit, but I'm super duper excited about it. Again, hope you enjoyed this project today. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.